Hey everyone. Hey everyone. In my art class at school, we did linoleum printmaking. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a type of printmaking. This was my first time ever doing printmaking. I loved how the prints came out, so I wanted to show you guys the process and I wanted to show you guys my prints. I took some videos of the process, not too many, but I can explain it all here. First, what I had to do is come up with a design. I have some footage of the document that I used to sketch out the design. I first sketched it out like on a piece of paper, and then I went over it digitally to fix a few things up. My art teacher provided me and my classmates with linoleum blocks, I think you would call it, which is somewhat of a rubbery, eraser-ish type consistency thing. So this is what we use to trace our designs onto, and it kind of acted as a stamp whenever we were going to make the prints. And I had to do that inverted because I don't know how to explain it. This confused me quite a lot. First, I started out with a background color, which was brown in this case. I used a roller to roll brown ink onto some of the linoleum, and then I stamped it onto a paper. I did this about 20 times because I wanted to make sure that I had enough prints to make it come out good, if you know what I'm saying. Like in case I messed up on something, I had tons of backups. Next, I had to carve out every part. So every part that I wanted to keep brown in the print, I had to carve out of the linoleum block, if that makes any sense. Like I said, it's kind of a confusing process. It makes more sense when you're doing it yourself. So I carved it out. Mostly this was just the negative space on my design, and it was like the mud on the pig's body, so the background in the mud. This took a lot of concentration because I had to pay attention to all the little details, and if I accidentally carved something I wasn't supposed to, I could not go back and fix it. I did the same thing I did with the brown ink, but this time I did it with pink, so that everything that was left uncarved would now print on top of the brown that I had painted on the paper, or stamped on the paper. I did this whole process again, but this time I did it with the outline. So I carved it out, and then I put black on it, and then I stamped it. So when you're doing this, you have to make sure you line up the linoleum in the same way every time. And to help do that, my teacher gave us something called a jig, and it was just like a little L-shaped piece of paper that I lined up with the corner of my paper and then used to, like, if that makes any sense. But honestly, it didn't have to be perfect. Like, the jig was helpful, but I think when things weren't 100% lined up, it looked better. You know what I'm saying? So I also decided to make some prints with a more simplistic vibe, and for this I just did one single stamp with the black. I also printed some outlines upside down because one of my classmates accidentally printed hers upside down, and it inspired me. Shout out to you, you know who you are. Here they are. I have a lot of them. I have like 20 of the colored copies and like I think 7 of the black and white. I'm gonna sign them today, sort them out, whatever. When I was done, I sorted out the pieces, ranking them from my favorite to least favorite, and then I labeled them and signed them. I ended up giving some to my friends and family for Christmas, and some of them may or may not be for sale soon. We will find out. So this process was kind of tough to wrap my head around, but nonetheless, it was really, really fun, challenging, and even though it was kind of a bumpy ride, it made it all worth it in the end because now I have 27 beautiful pigs that I love so much. Here's one pig. This was an upside down pig. Beautiful. beautiful. So this was an example of the just black and white pig. This was printed on brown paper. I really love it. And then we have some of the normal pigs, the not so special ones, the ones that just were basic. So here's that. As you can see, this one wasn't lined up super well, but I think it still came out pretty nice. So this one was an example of one that wasn't lined up very much. I ranked this 13 out of 13, so this is my least favorite one, solely because the brown in the background was kind of faded. But now, looking back at it, I kind of like it. You guys, if you can, you should try out linoleum printmaking. It's really fun, and the vibes, immaculate. I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out.